mechanic. So every Wednesday we get to do a little tune-up. And today we're going to lube up the joints. We're going to focus a lot on the hip and ankles. So we're going to start in a quadruped position, which is hands and knees. Let's go hands and knees. We're going to get our spine rolling, okay? So what we want to do is we want to lube up all those discs, the vertebrae in your spine. There's fluid in between each vertebrae. We're going to get the fluid in the right place. So get on your hands and knees and mindfully get your hands and knees right, hands right under your shoulders. Don't have them way up there. And I want your knees right under your hips. So if you can just check that out, it's hard to have a mirror, but you want your knee right here under your hip. Then your back will fall in line. So let's do this. We're going to do a little version of a cat-cow that I kind of created. So we're going to go into our cat. And when you do, I want you to start by dropping your chin to your chest. So let's start at the head with this cat. And then we're going to round between our shoulders up to the ceiling. And then gradually pull your navel into your spine and let your navel come up to the ceiling. And let your tailbone tuck under. So in this position, your neck and your low back are arched in the same way. That's very important. You always want to keep the neck and the low back going in the same direction. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this nice arch. We're going to keep this nice cat. And I want you to keep your feet flat. And I want you to push your back as it stays rounded back to your heels. Push it back to your heels. Once you're back there, you can release the back, drop the elbows to the ground, lift the chin, and you're going to take your chest and you're going to keep it as low to the ground as you can, and you're going to slide it up between your hands and come up into cow and just be there for a second. Let's do that again. So I want you to bring your chin to your chest. Start at the head for this. Push up your shoulder blades to the ceiling, or push your back to the ceiling in between your shoulder blades. Then pull your navel up to the ceiling. Pull it up there really high, really high, really high. Now keep that nice round arch and push back to your heels. Keep it rounded. Keep the spine open. Keep it open. Once you're at your heels, drop your chin, drop your belly, lift your chin. Now slide your chest as close to the ground, up through your hands, getting a little cobra in here, and back up. Let's do that one more time, a little quicker. Chin to the chest, rounding everything to the ceiling, coming back, coming back. We've got a nice arch all through our whole back. Drop your elbows down, lift your chin, slide up, slide up, slide up. Good job, good job. Okay, from here, we're going to get a little ankle mobility going. So I'm going to climb up the mat a little bit, and I want you to extend your right leg back. So what we're going to do is we're just going to be on hands and knees, and we're going to just rock gently back and forth into that ankle. Rock back into that ankle. Push back into the ankle. Give it a nice rock. We're also working the hips here. Actually, you're getting a little shoulder and wrist action going here. And rock back. Now, if this is too difficult for your wrists, you can also rock back from your elbows, okay? But if we need to keep our hands open, we need to work our hands in this extended position as well. Okay, bring that back in. Come on up. Shake your wrists out. We're going to do the other side. And I'm going to give you a little key on how to place your palms on the mat. So go ahead and place your palms back on the mat. And now what I want you to do is try to lift your fingers up off the mat and create little suction cups of the palm on the mat. Now relax your fingers back down. So your palm is pressing into the mat. Now take your left leg back. And I want you to rock back and forth. rock back and forth. This is good for the whole left side of the body. You're going to rock back and forth. But we're focusing on the ankle. If you do not have ankle mobility, you might end up with knee pain, hip pain, back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. You never know where it's going to go. When you have a joint that's jammed up and you're moving around, it's going to send stress somewhere into your body. Everybody's different. We're all unique. We all have those unique bodies. Okay, so now we're going to extend the right leg out and the left arm out. We're going to engage the core for this. So I want you to pull your navel into your spine, and I want you to lift the right leg up off the floor and hold it. Now you're going to take the hand to the floor and the foot to the floor and lift. But I want you to keep your navel into your spine, just like we did when we were in that cat-cow position, when we were in the cat. Up and down. Now take your left hand and place it on the floor. Keep your right leg up. I want you to send your right leg over your left leg, cross it over, and then I want you to rock back and forth on that heel again with that leg crossed over. Now take a peek over that left shoulder and look at that right foot. Go ahead and find that right foot and get a nice side bend in the body. Good job. Let's take it down and do the other side. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to extend the left leg back and the right arm out. Engage your core, engage your abdominals. Lift the leg up off the floor. Now you're going to lower the right arm and left leg, and then you're going to lift them together. Lower, lift, lower, lift. Staying strong in the shoulders, lower, lift, lower, lift. One more, lower, lift, and bring the right arm down. Keep the leg up. I want you to cross it over the right leg. Put the toes down and give me that rock again through the ankle. Give it a rock. Now I want you to peek over that right shoulder and find that left foot and get that nice stretch all through the left side body. Keep rocking. Keep rocking. Oh, that feels so good. Okay, bring it in, bring it in. All right, I want you to grab your block. We worked the core a little bit there. We know where our core is. Actually, your core is everything but your arms and your legs and your neck and your head. So it's front and back. It's your whole rib cage. It's all that good stuff. So let's take our block and put it between our knees. Now we're engaged the abdominals, and I want you to use your abdominals to get yourself down to the floor. So go ahead and pull your navel into your spine and then roll down. Remember, when we lubed up all those vertebrae, let's lower ourselves down one vertebrae at a time. Just keep it slow and controlled. Keep it slow and controlled. Try not to flop. Really control this movement. This is what we call eccentric control. We're working with a contraction and against gravity. Okay, good job. So I want you to have your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor. The block is in between your knees. This is our core engagement tool. I love this one. I never want you to forget it. So we're going to engage these lower abdominals, learn how to tilt this pelvis a little bit up towards our nose. So when we stand, we don't have a sway back. All right. So take your hands, and we're going to use that little tip I told you. We're going to place our hands on the floor. Lift your fingers up off the floor, and then gently push your palms into the floor, and then gently lower your fingers, relax into the floor. So your palms have a good grip on the floor. Now from here, I want you to bring your chin to your chest. So you're rounding your neck to the floor, and you're looking at the top of your knees. And now pull your navel into your spine, pull it in, And let that pubic bone just tilt up towards your nose. You're not lifting your hips up off the ground. You're moving your lower abdominals. You're shortening them. You're tightening them. And you're lengthening your lumbar spine. Your spine should be flattening into the floor. And you're holding this. Don't hold your breath. All right, let's release it. You can release your hands for a moment. The hands are giving us a little neural engagement into our system. So go ahead and put your hands on the floor, fingers up, gently let the fingers fall to the floor. Chin goes to your chest, so your spine is nice and long in your neck, and it's rounding towards the floor or in that direction. You're going to pull your navel into your spine and feel that pubic bone right here, the ridge of your pubic bone, have a gentle tilt up toward your nose. Now I want you to hold that. Feel the strength right through here. This is the muscles that attach to that pubic bone and attach to the front of the spine. We need them nice and strong in the front to protect our back. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Generally, you would hold this for a long count of 6. And then when you release it for the same amount of time, you've got to give it a break. So this is not something you're going to quickly do back and forth. This is a slow neural engagement move. So put your hands back on the floor. Lift your fingers. Relax your fingers. Bring your chin to your chest. Pull your navel into your spine and just feel that low back getting longer. Feel that low back going into the floor. It's getting nice and tall. It's getting very strong. Your abdominals are pulling your pelvic bone up into a perfect posture position. And just hold it, hold it, hold it. And release. Good job, good job. Okay, stay where you are. I've got to do one thing. And we're going to take this yoga block. Now that we've engaged these abdominals, we're going to take the yoga block and we're going to place it under your sacrum. So your low back's right here. We're going to place this right here under this bony part right here. Okay, so you're on your back. Go ahead, go up into a little bridge. Put your block right there so your hips are resting really nice on that. Now, if you don't have a block, you can do this without a block. This is just going to give you a little less stress in the low back as we do these. So, you guys are probably familiar with dead bugs, where you're up like this and you're going like this. This is dead bugs, okay? But we've engaged this core. We're going to keep the arms out of it for right now, so just arms down by your side. What I want you to do is bring your knees up so they're coming straight up from your hip. You've got a 90-degree angle here. And as we lower our leg to the floor, I don't want you lowering it down like this. You've got to keep this 90-degree angle. So we're going to do this with our left leg. We're going to take our heel down to the floor. As we keep this leg in place, we're going to keep everything nice and still in our body except this leg that's moving. Now we're going to take our right toes. So point your foot, take your right toe down to the floor and pull it in. Now I want you to feel this working from your abdominals, not necessarily your hip flexors right here. So take your left heel down to the floor. So we're keeping those ankles moving. And then point your foot and take your point down to the floor. Remember, you're keeping that 90-degree angle in the knee. Right heel or left heel goes to the floor. Bring it up. Once you're up, point your foot. Take your foot, toes down to the floor. Pull it up. The whole time we're engaging this. Heel to the floor. You can put your hand right here. You can feel these muscles work. Toes to the floor. Come on up. Heel to the floor. Toes to the floor. Let's do one more on the other side. Heel to the floor. Nice. Toes to the floor. All right, go ahead and just let your knees plop towards your chest, but we're not going to pull them in this time. What we're going to do is we're going to push them away, okay? So what I want you to do, your knees are coming towards your chest. You're going to put your hands in front of your knees, and you're going to push your knees into your hand, and you're going to push your navel into the floor. Now you can do this with or without the block, but we're going to be using the block for the next move, so we're just going to keep it there. And release. All right. So let's send both legs up in the air. What we're going to do is we're going to point our feet. And when you point your feet, don't think so much about your toes creating that point. Think of your heel coming to the back of your calf. Let the toes go along for the ride. So you're going to point your foot and you're going to open out your legs wide. Now you're going to flex your feet. And you're going to bring your legs together like you're squeezing a big beach ball between your legs. So give it a squeeze. You're going to point your feet and you're going to open out wide. And you're going to flex your feet and you're going to squeeze it back together. Point your feet, open out wide. Flex your feet, squeeze it back together. Point your feet, open out wide, flex your feet, squeeze it back together. That's good. Okay, bring it down. We're going to do some hip lifts. So let's remove this block from under and we're going to put it between our knees again. So we're going to do these slow motion hip lifts. Remember, this is mindful movement. So what I want you to do is each of these moves is designed for you to put your mind into the muscle we're working and have it connect so you're using the proper muscle at the proper time. So we're going to work these glutes on the back side. So we're on the floor with our glutes, and we're going to start by squeezing them there. So go ahead and squeeze your glutes together. Squeeze them really tight. And you can squeeze your knees together too. And then keep that squeeze. Lift those hips up, up, up. But try to keep your hip pointers right here, your ASIS, try to keep them level and you're shooting them straight up to the ceiling. And we're going to keep that squeeze and we're going to lower it down and we're going to lower it down level. No wiggling around, okay? Keep it level, keep it level, keep it level, keep it level. And now you get to release. Good job. Let's do that again. Let's get that squeeze, okay? So you start the squeeze at the bottom. Squeeze. Lift those hip bones, those hip pointers. Just think of them shooting up to the ceiling. They're lifting up, they're lifting up. The harder you squeeze, the higher it'll get. And then keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Try to lower it down nice and steady. You might be shifting around a little bit, but try to do what you can. All right, release it. Let's do that one more time. Give it a squeeze. Give it a lift, 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 lift. Hold it up, hold it up, hold it up, hold it up. Good job. Keep it up there. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Now, lower it down steady. Lower it down. Really slow and steady. All right, you're there. Okay, we can take the block away. We're going to work on a little bit more ankle mobility. We're going to work on what I was talking about on how to move the ankle without using the toes so much. So I want you just to create a couple guardrails along the side of your knee. Just keep your knee in line. Don't block the movement below your knee because your knee or these two bones below your knee will be it. They need to move. So what you want to do is think of the top of your foot here coming back to your shin as we flex our foot. So the top of the foot's coming back towards the shin. The toes are going along for the ride. Now we're going to point, which means we're going to take the heel to the back of the calf. So go ahead and point, but think of your heel. Put your mind there. Put your mind in your heel. Bring it as close to your calf as you can. Nice. Now flex. Bring the top of the foot as close to the shin as you can. Think about it. Think about it. Be mindful. and bring the back of the heel as close to the calf as you can. All right, let's circle it around. So this is where you want mobility, but you want to keep this part of your leg steady. So just grab the thigh and then let the rest of the leg circle around. Circle, circle the ankle, and then reverse your circle. Awesome. You might hear some cracks and pops. That's okay. And bring the leg down. Good job. Let's do the other side. We don't want to be out of balance. So remember, we're creating guardrails on the side of our knees. We're not restricting the movement in our shin. But I want you to bring the top of your foot towards your shin. Those toes are going along for the ride. Really put your mind here, guys. And then put your mind in your heel, coming all the way to your calf. Your heel's going towards your calf. Nice. Bring the top of your foot towards your shin, just nice and steady. Bring it up there. And then bring your heel towards your calf. Let's bring the shin back toward, or the top of the foot back towards the shin. And one more time, bring the heel to the calf. Good job. So grab your leg a little bit lower so you got more freedom here. And let's do some circles. Circle, circle, circle. Getting so much good fluid down in this ankle joint. They're going to be so happy. We want happy feet, right? All right. All right, bring that foot down. Okay, from here, what I want you to do is come up into a seated position. And we're going to have our left leg, our left knee's in front, our right leg is bent back behind us. And sit up as tall as you can right here. Go ahead and put your hands on your shoulders and lift your arms up tall. So I don't want you grabbing your shoulders, but I want you to just gently place them here. Lift your elbows high, and that will direct your spine up into a nice straight position. So get as comfortable as you can here. And we're going to just rotate our torso. So I want you to think of the left side of your rib cage moving towards your right leg. So rotate, rotate, rotate. Nice. Now we're going to rotate all the way over. We're going to take our right rib cage and rotate it towards our left leg. And once you're there, I want you to take your hands down to the floor. So we're here in our twist, okay? Walk your hands out where you can go. And we're going to place our elbows on the floor. So try to get both elbows down. If you can't, if you're here, that's okay. Try to keep both elbows down. Now from here, we're going to lube up those hips again. So we're going to create internal rotation in that right hip by taking our foot and lifting it up off the floor and putting it down. The knee stays down. Lift the foot, put it down. The rotation is coming from right here. Lift the foot, put it down. Lift the foot, put it down. So now we're going to reverse that rotation into external rotation at the hip. So I want you to lift your knee up off the floor and then put it down. Lift your knee up off the floor and then put it down. Lift your knee, your foot stays on the floor and put it down and lift your knee. Now be mindful of how this hip is moving. The other hip might move different. Let's compare. So let's switch sides. So if you can switch without putting your hands on the ground, switch your legs around, you're using your core. So let's try that. So this time the right leg's in front, the left leg's bent back behind you. We're going to do our torso twist again. So just gently place your hands on your shoulders and lift your elbows and increase the length of your spine. So your spine's coming up tall. Let's take that rotation over to the left side for starters. So think of this right rib cage moving over to the left side. So the rib cage is moving you, not your head, not your shoulders. They're following along. Rib cage is moving you. Hold it there, bring out that spine. Come back, have the left side of your rib cage rotate over to your right leg. Go as far as you can. Once you're there, this is where we place our hands on the floor. So take your hands down to the floor, walk your hands out. If you can get both elbows on the floor, that's great. And then from here, we're going to do that hip mobility. So from here, we're going to take our left leg or foot and lift it up. And we're creating that internal rotation right here at the hip. Lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Okay, let's create some external rotation now. So this time you're going to take your knee off the floor, keep your foot down, lift and lower. This is where you're probably going to find some differences in your movement from side to side. That's okay. Just keep at these moves until you can get them feeling even side to side. Your body's going to love you for it. All right, lift and lower, lift and lower. All right, come on up to that seated position. I tell you what, so we're coming up to seated position. We're going to keep our knees like they are. We'll rise up on our hips. We're going to stretch out our hip flexors by squeezing our glutes again. We know how to squeeze those glutes now, right? What I want you to be mindful of is have a nice space between your shoulder and your ear. You're pushing your hand down into the floor. Your arm is straight, and you want to keep that space as you rise up. You don't want to be like this. Okay, so we're up tall. We're going to lift our hips up. We're going to stay up tall, keeping our neck away or our ear away from our shoulder, and we're rising up with our arm up in the air, and we're squeezing this glute, and that's going to open up this hip flexor. Let's do a few shoulder circles. We don't want to forget about our shoulders. We got to lube them up too, and then reverse that circle. Reverse that circle. And take it down. Nice. All right, let's do the other side. So remember, if you don't use your hands, you're getting your core engaged. Get this set up. Arm comes back behind you. Nice space between the shoulder and the ear. Rise up. Come on up. You're squeezing this glute on the back side to open up the hip flexor. Some shoulder circles. Let's do some arm circles. Get them lubed up. And then do the other way. All right, take it back down to a seated position. Crisscross your legs. Get comfortable for a sec, and then just do a few hip circles right here. Right from this hip crease, okay? You can round your spine as you go back. You can send your chest forward as you go forward. Round the spine. Send the chest forward. Let's reverse the circle. Send the chest forward. Round back. Chest opens up. Round the back. Chest opens up. Let's take a big breath up. How about some prayer hands at the top? Bring them down to your heart. And have a great day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's with me? I couldn't see.
Deborah.
Chris, you can keep the class going.
Huh? What?
I hear you, Mama. Chris, you can stay here. Everyone else can bounce out.